And the Grammy goes to Bad Bunny, debí tirar más fotos. Before I say thanks to God, I'm gonna say eyes out.
Grammy Night 2026. The entire world erupted when the name Bad Bunny was announced in the Album of the Year category for Debí Tirar Más Fotos. And in that moment, history shifted. For the first time, the Grammy's highest honor went to an album performed entirely in Spanish. It was a point of pride for Puerto Rico, a declaration that Latin music doesn't need translation to be recognized. It had taken center stage, not a crossover album, not a blended product designed to appease the US market. Bad Bunny was no longer simply the most famous Latin artist in the world. He became a global icon, a cultural force, an era. From a boy singing in a church choir in Vega Baja to the man who made the entire music industry rewrite its standards. How could a young man from a small town in Puerto Rico bend the system, break through language barriers, and force the world to listen? How could he build a fortune worth $100 million? And the answer began a long time ago. Benito Antonio Martinez was born on March 10, 1994, and grew up in Almirante Sur, a quiet neighborhood in Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. Benito wasn't raised in luxury, but in a modest middle-class family. His father was a truck driver. His mother was a school teacher. A strict Catholic household shaped his childhood. Sundays meant church formal attire, discipline order. Benito sang in the choir for years up until he was 13, a small boy with a high voice standing within church walls that echoed with sacred sound. But inside him, another world was forming. After leaving the choir, Benito became drawn to an entirely different energy reggaeton. The bold beats of Daddy Yankee ignited the imagination of the introverted teenager. Street music, not hymns. Electronic drums instead of the church organ. In high school, Benito wasn't the most popular guy. He was shy, quiet, more comfortable staying home than hanging out in the streets. But when the music played, a different side of him emerged. And then the name Bad Bunny was born. From what seemed like a silly memory, a childhood photo where young Benito was forced to wear a bunny costume at a festival, his face scrunched in annoyance because he hated it. That image, a bunny with a rebellious glare, became the perfect symbol of who he would become: cute yet defiant, soft yet challenging. After graduating from high school, Benito didn't jump straight into show business. He studied audiovisual communication at the University of Puerto Rico. By day, he learned about visual sound and content production. By night, he worked as a bagger at a supermarket to help support his family. Long shifts, store shelves, cardboard boxes. No one in that supermarket knew that the quiet young man working there was rewriting his own future. SoundCloud, where the legend began. Between exhausting shifts at the supermarket, Benito refused to let his mind stay trapped between store aisles. During his breaks, he uploaded self-recorded tracks to SoundCloud. No marketing campaign, no PR team, just a college student with a laptop and a dream he never said out loud. And then someone listened. The track Dials caught the attention of DJ Luian. Without hesitation, Luian immediately recognized this unpolished goldmine and brought Benito in to sign with Hear This Music. Teaming up with Mambo Kings ignited the fire inside him. Early hits like Soy Pior Krippy Kush and Ahora Me Llama didn't just take over clubs, they introduced a presence the industry had never seen before. A husky, hypnotic voice layered with melodic twists paired with gender-fluid fashion, painted nails, and unconventional outfits. Bad Bunny wasn't chasing validation. He forced the world to be curious about him. The global leap from Latin trap to the Billboard Hot 100. In 2018, a tropical storm swept into the United States. The smash hit I Like It alongside Cardi B soared straight to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, turning Bad Bunny into a must-know name in Hollywood. Soon after, he stunned the industry again by getting hitmaker Drake to sing in Spanish on the chart-topping single MIA. He didn't stop at singles. His debut album X100 Pre arrived as a bold artistic statement, earning praise from even the toughest critics. Partnering with J Balvin on their joint album Oasis, Bad Bunny officially expanded his reach. transforming Latin music from a side flavor into the main course of the global music feast. 2020 was the year Bad Bunny ruled the world. As the world staggered under the weight of a pandemic, Bad Bunny created a new order. It wasn't a year of pause, it became the year of El Conejo Malo as he dominated the charts with a staggering 8 billion streams, officially becoming one of the most influential artists on the planet. Nothing captured his power more clearly than the moment he stood on the Super Bowl halftime show stage alongside Jennifer Lopez. At the heart of American pop culture, blazing Latin rhythms exploded, proving his music was no longer foreign. It was the center of the world stage. And he kept breaking rules. He appeared proudly on the cover of Rolling Stone and released the historic album El Último Tour del Mundo. With that project, Benito achieved the unthinkable, making history as the first all-Spanish language album to reach number 1 on the Billboard 200. At the same time, the hit Da Kitty became a cultural anthem embraced by fans everywhere. By 2022, Bad Bunny was no longer just a singer. He had become an independent economy, with massive sales and overwhelming influence. His streaming numbers skyrocketed to an astonishing 18.5 billion, showing he had permeated every corner of global culture. The world's hottest tour stormed stadiums worldwide, grossing an extraordinary $230 million and setting the record as the highest-grossing tour of the year. Meanwhile, the decade-defining album Un Verano Sin Ti held the #1 spot for 13 consecutive weeks, becoming the soundtrack to everything from beach parties in Puerto Rico to packed nightclubs in Tokyo. Through it all, Bad Bunny proved a powerful truth: when music is real and deeply felt, language is never a barrier. By 2025, just when the world thought Bad Bunny had reached his creative peak, he delivered another powerful strike with Debí Tirar Más Fotos (8.3M), launching a new era. This wasn't just a reggaeton album, it was an ambitious musical expedition. Benito dug into his cultural roots with bomba plena and salsa, then boldly fused them with house and tech house. The result, a sound both nostalgic and forward-looking, left critics in awe of the fearless vision of a true innovator. A historic night at the 2026 Grammys, when the world spoke Spanish. The sweetest triumph arrived at the 2026 Grammy Awards, a historic night that etched Bad Bunny's name into the Hall of Immortal Legends. When Taylor Swift stepped onto the stage to announce the winner for Album of the Year, the entire arena seemed to hold its breath. And when the words "Debí tirar más fotos" rang out, a seismic wave rippled across the music industry. His acceptance speech was a powerful declaration of cultural pride. Instead of switching to English to appeal to the majority, Bad Bunny spoke boldly and entirely in his native Spanish. He dedicated the victory to everyone who has ever been treated like an outsider, and to the Latin artists who have spent decades creating with persistence and resilience. The stage lights blazed as he raised the golden gramophone, high proof that an album doesn't need translation to touch the souls of millions across nations. Even more striking was his performance of EOO that same night, transforming the Grammy stage into a true cultural celebration. Benito brought authentic bomba and plena rhythms to the spotlight. Sounds that once echoed only through the streets of San Juan now reverberated at the heart of Los Angeles, the capital of the music industry. His earlier wins for Best Global Music Performance and Best Musica Urbana Album were merely preludes to the biggest explosion of all. Major outlets like the New York Times and Rolling Stone quickly published headlines calling it the 1964 moment of the 21st century, referencing the cultural impact of the Beatles' arrival decades ago. Except this time, it was the arrival of Latin language and identity. The DTMF World Tour fever. The power of a new king. The overwhelming heat from his Grammy victory turned the DTMF World Tour into an unprecedented global phenomenon. In just the first 12 shows, he generated a staggering $107 million, selling 697,000 tickets. In Mexico City alone, 8 nights brought in $86.7 million. With that explosive momentum, financial analysts predict the tour could easily surpass the $314 million record previously set by World's Hottest Tour. This officially places Bad Bunny among the most commercially powerful living legends in history, a crownless king of 21st century music. Beneath the image of a rebellious artist, Bad Bunny is in reality a business titan with sharp strategic instincts, someone who has transformed music into a formidable financial empire. A $100 million net worth, the empire of a king. According to Celebrity Net Worth, by 2026, his net worth has surpassed $100 million, but that figure represents only the visible tip of a much larger iceberg. The massive cash flow pouring in for El Conejo Malo comes from a convergence of record-breaking achievements. Streaming revenue alone generates enormous income. Concert tours such as World's Hottest Tour and most recently the DTMF World Tour have become true goldmines, placing him among the highest-grossing touring artists in history. His empire is further reinforced by his dominant presence on YouTube. With over 46 million subscribers and more than 30 billion total views, his channel is not just a media platform, it is a massive passive income machine powered by advertising and royalties. Yet the real power lies in strategic commercial partnerships. Most notably, his long-term deal with Adidas stands out. Unlike other stars who simply attach their names to existing sneaker lines, Benito created his own distinctive versions of the Forum Buckle Low infused with the spirit of Vega Baja. They sold out within seconds of release, driving resale prices to several times their original value. His collaboration with Gucci for the Savoy campaign sparked another wave of excitement. His airport appearance alongside Kendall Jenner carrying luxury monogram luggage was more than an ad campaign. It was a statement that a young man from rural Puerto Rico could become the face of global luxury. In addition, partnerships with major beverage brands and telecommunications companies have reportedly earned him tens of millions of dollars per campaign. With a fortune in the hundreds of millions, Bad Bunny has also built a real estate portfolio worthy of a global superstar. From sunlit streets in Los Angeles to the sweeping hills of Hollywood, his properties are not merely homes. They are bold declarations of identity and success. Hollywood Hills Mansion, $8.8 million. The peak of prestige. In 2023, when his career had already reached its highest altitude, Bad Bunny signed a deal that cemented his new status, an $8 million mansion in the Hollywood Hills, where winding roads climb straight toward the Mount Olympus of Los Angeles' elite. Hidden on more than half an acre overlooking the vast city of LA, the estate is a refined fusion of modern architecture and absolute luxury. The main residence spans approximately 7,300 to 7,316 square feet, over 680 square meters, featuring 8 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms. Every corner is flooded with natural light pouring through floor-to-ceiling glass, like a living work of art set against the sweeping cityscape below. Step inside, and the space unfolds like a story about power and experience. At its heart lies a sunken living room, a lowered gathering space that feels intimate yet expansive. This is not a conventional sitting room for polite receptions. It is a place where conversations stretch past 3 a.m., where new beats are tested for the first time, where ideas that never existed before begin to take shape. Across from it stands a high-end wet bar, where soft lighting glows against polished marble surfaces. The atmosphere is refined enough for a Hollywood music industry gathering, yet private enough to remain completely discreet. The kitchen is outfitted with top-tier appliances, sleek stainless steel sharp lines, minimalist yet commanding. Everything here is designed with performance and aesthetics, moving in perfect balance. The primary suite feels like a private apartment of its own. A personal balcony opens to panoramic views of Los Angeles. The bathroom features a deep soaking tub and a glass-enclosed shower. The expansive walk-in closet is not merely for storage, it is a showcase for an entire fashion statement. Then comes the outdoor space. An infinity pool stretches toward the edge of the hillside, merging seamlessly with the horizon. As the sun sets, the water reflects streaks of orange and crimson, and the entire setting takes on the aura of a 6-star resort. This is not just a place to swim. It is a place to admire. This mansion is not simply a property, it is a symbol of a journey. From a college student bagging groceries in Puerto Rico to a man who owns a hilltop overlooking Los Angeles. From uploading songs during work breaks to living in a multi-million-dollar home in the entertainment capital of the world. Hollywood Hills is not just where he resides, it stands as proof that Bad Bunny's fairy tale is real, built from concrete glass steel and limitless ambition. Behind the radiant spotlight of a global superstar lies the soul of an artist who still longs for privacy and depth within the spaces he calls home. Bird Streets, Hollywood Hills, $8.3 million. Classic allure. In early 2024, Bad Bunny added another jewel to his real estate collection, a property in the prestigious Bird Streets enclave of the Hollywood Hills for $8.3 million. The home was previously owned by Ariana Grande. The house spans approximately 1,600 square feet, not oversized by superstar standards. Yet that very sense of just enough is what gives it its unique charm. The mid-century modern design captures the spirit of 1960s California. Clean lines, flat roof, expansive glass panels that blur the boundary between indoors and nature. From the outside, the home appears to float along the hillside. Wood, concrete, and glass blend seamlessly, creating a feeling that is both warm and minimalist. No towering iron gates, no excessive display, just architecture confident in its own beauty. Step inside and light floods every corner. Floor-to-ceiling glass walls open directly to the Los Angeles Valley. By day, the city stretches below like a panoramic painting. By night, the glittering lights create an almost surreal atmosphere. The living room carries an unmistakable artistic spirit. Minimal furnishings, soft curves, natural wood textures. The space does not shout wealth. It whispers taste. Outside, a sharply angled geometric pool cuts through the softness of the surrounding landscape. When the water reflects the colors of sunset, the entire property feels cinematic. A spacious terrace catches the last rays of sunlight against stone surfaces, where quiet afternoons can linger for hours. This is not a space for loud parties. It is a place for reflection, a place for creation. The garage fits 2 luxury cars, but the most intriguing detail sits behind the garden, an Airstream trailer, a spontaneous accent that feels deeply personal. It serves as a reminder of his roots of wanderlust and freedom, of a young man who, even at the peak of global success, never forgot the spirit that shaped him. If the $8.8 million Hollywood Hills mansion represents triumph, then the $8.3 million Bird Streets home is where Bad Bunny can unwind, create, and remember the journey that carried him from Vega Baja to this point. Though he has reached the heights of luxury in Los Angeles and New York, Bad Bunny's heart remains inseparable from Puerto Rico. The home in Puerto Rico. Amid the rush of Hollywood lights, he has kept a quiet sanctuary in San Juan, a place where he sheds every layer of fame and returns to being Benito from a tropical island. This villa is not merely property. It is a spiritual fortress, where he retreated during the days when the world stood still under a global pandemic. His San Juan home feels like a symphony between modern architecture and the breath of the ocean. In rare glimpses, he shares white walls stand surrounded by lush greenery, with the sound of Caribbean waves brushing just beyond the terrace. Here, luxury is not found in gold-plated decor, but in the purity of nature. It is where he can walk barefoot across wooden floors, breathe in the salt air, and reconnect with himself through the raw pulse of reggaeton. This is where his boldest ideas are born, where the name Bad Bunny is recharged for another global expedition. His dominance has even extended into the world's most powerful cities, reinforcing the stature of a crownless king. Fans still remember the period when he rented an ultra-luxurious penthouse in West Chelsea, New York, reportedly at a record $150,000 per month. It was true high-rise living in the heart of the Big Apple, complete with a private pool and a sweeping terrace overlooking the city's dazzling skyline. Behind the Grammy stage lights and the hundreds of millions in revenue, Bad Bunny's life is also a labyrinth woven with emotional highs and lows, legal challenges, and the immense pressure that comes with extraordinary fame. Love and the turbulent private life of Bad Bunny. Gabriella Berlingeri, an anchor in the eye of the storm. On his climb to the very top, the name Gabriella Berlingeri was more than a romantic partner. It was a creative force behind some of his boldest projects. They met in 2017 at a restaurant in Puerto Rico after one of his concerts, just as his career was beginning to explode. Gabriella entered Benito's life at the exact moment everything was changing. She was never simply a star's girlfriend. She recorded reference vocals for a Jennifer Lopez track. She stood beside him during the long months of pandemic lockdown as they crafted the groundbreaking album YHLQMDLG. Their connection carried the weight of deep artistic understanding. Gabriela became the emotional anchor who helped Benito keep his feet on the ground, while the world spun wildly around him. Even as rumors of distance or new romances later surfaced, Gabriela's presence remains inseparable from the most triumphant chapter of El Conejo Malo. Yet fame always brings shadows from the past. The $40 million lawsuit, the price of a phrase. In 2023, headlines erupted when Carliz de la Cruz Hernandez, his former college girlfriend, filed a lawsuit seeking at least $40 million in damages. At the center of the dispute was the now iconic phrase "Bad Bunny Baby," a voice recording Carliz made in 2015, in a small room long before Benito became a global phenomenon. The use of that audio in tracks like Pa T and 2016, allegedly without formal authorization, pushed him into a tense legal battle. The case was not only about money, it became a stark reminder that in the world of fame, even the most private memories can transform into powerful weapons. To escape the suffocating pressure of the music industry, Bad Bunny found release in a place few expected: the WWE Arena. When the artist became a warrior. He wasn't a celebrity guest making a token appearance. Benito actually relocated to Orlando and trained relentlessly for 3 months to become a legitimate wrestler. He left millions in awe when he executed a flawless Canadian destroyer at WrestleMania 37 and even captured the WWE 24/7 Championship title. Inside the blazing arena, fans did not see a music billionaire. They saw a lifelong wrestling fanatic living out a childhood dream. WWE became the one place where Benito could rebel in its purest form, where physical pain drowned out psychological pressure, where bruises replaced headlines, and where sweat silenced the weight of global fame. But if you think Bad Bunny's story ends with chart dominance and multi-million-dollar mansions, then you have only seen half the picture. There is another version of him, one who does not stand beneath stage lights, but in the middle of angry crowds filling the streets. One who does not hold a microphone to perform, but a megaphone to demand change. Bad Bunny and politics, a social voice. In 2019, Puerto Rico was shaken by political crisis. After leaked private messages from Governor Ricardo Rossello surfaced, messages widely criticized as mocking women, the LGBTQ+ community, and victims of Hurricane Maria. Public outrage spread across the island. Hundreds of thousands of people flooded the streets of San Juan in one of the largest protests in modern Puerto Rican history. And among that sea of people stood a familiar face, not on stage, not surrounded by security, just a citizen wearing a baseball cap, the Puerto Rican flag draped across his shoulders. Bad Bunny. He didn't tweet from a mansion. He didn't post a distant show of support. He was there, walking in the crowd, chanting, calling for the governor's resignation. Alongside Resident and Ricky Martin, he became one of the visible figures of the movement. Eventually, Rossello stepped down. It was more than a political victory. It was proof that artists are not only entertainers, they can exert real social pressure. Bad Bunny has long spoken out about Puerto Rico's status as a U.S. territory. Without presidential voting rights, a place repeatedly hit by economic crises and natural disasters. He has emphasized again and again Puerto Rico is not a vacation destination. It is a nation with identity, with a voice. In his music, he incorporates bomba plena and traditional salsa rhythms, not just for aesthetics, but as cultural affirmation. In interviews, he openly addresses economic inequality and the neglect following Hurricane Maria. He uses his platform to say what many young Puerto Ricans are already thinking. In an industry where neutrality is often considered the safest strategy, Bad Bunny chooses risk. He doesn't just want to be the most streamed artist in the world, he wants to be heard. And perhaps that is the truest form of power. And beyond music and politics, Bad Bunny has launched an even bolder expedition, one that challenges the most deeply rooted conservative strongholds of Latin American culture: gender image and controversial fashions. In the world of Latin trap, where machismo is often glorified, where masculinity is defined by muscles, heavy gold chains, and an icy stare, Bad Bunny stepped forward, with brightly painted nails, flowing skirts, and a boldly gender-fluid style. He doesn't just wear clothes, he uses fashion to shatter glass cages of expectation. When he appears on the covers of major magazines like Vogue or Harper's Bazaar in outfits traditionally reserved for women, he is not trying to become one. He is asserting that a real man is someone confident enough to wear whatever he chooses. Each time he shows up with lipstick or daring silhouettes, fierce debate ignites. Conservative critics accuse him of eroding traditional values. Yet the backlash only amplifies his magnetism. This calculated rebellion has turned him into a global fashion icon someone luxury houses compete to collaborate with in redefining what modern beauty means. The reason Bad Bunny stands as a true fashion symbol, rather than simply a singer who enjoys dressing up, lies in authenticity. He does not wear skirts for shock value or trend chasing. He wears them because he feels free. Benito's unshakable confidence has inspired an entire generation of Gen Z youth eager to escape restrictive gender labels. He proves that real power does not come from muscles or a hardened exterior. It comes from the courage to be yourself in a world quick to judge. By blurring the lines between masculine and feminine, between streetwear and high fashion, Bad Bunny has turned his own body into a canvas for freedom. Today, when someone sees a young man with painted nails or vibrant colors on the street, Benito's influence is unmistakable. He hasn't just changed how we listen to music. He has changed how the world understands masculinity and the right to be different. The global impact of Bad Bunny. In recent years, Bad Bunny has become far more than a music star. He has evolved into a defining cultural phenomenon, reshaping how the world views Latin music fashion identity and performance on the largest stages on Earth. He has not only dominated charts, he has pushed Spanish-language music beyond every perceived boundary, reaching global audiences without translation or linguistic compromise. He is the only artist to land 4 consecutive Spanish-language albums at #1 on the Billboard 200, an achievement reached by very few in history. Albums like Un Verano Sin Ti and Debí Tirar Más Fotos were not just commercial successes. They set new standards for Latin music within the global industry. As a result, Billboard magazine named him Top Pop Artist of 2025, placing him ahead of global superstars such as Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga. Current and latest projects, sustaining the momentum. Debí Tirar Más Fotos, released in early 2025, is widely regarded as the most groundbreaking project of Bad Bunny's career. Deeply rooted in Puerto Rican identity, the album blends traditional bomba plena and salsa with reggaeton and modern influences, transforming it into a multidimensional musical statement. Tracks like Vueltita and Perfumito Nuevo are not just hits. They tell stories about Puerto Rico's history, heritage, and cultural pride. The album sparked a global phenomenon and went on to win Album of the Year at the 2026 Grammy Awards, marking the first time in history that a fully Spanish-language album claimed the ceremony's highest honor. Bad Bunny does not merely dominate music, he shapes trends and extends his influence far beyond it. He uses fashion as language breaking rigid gender norms and reshaping modern ideas of masculinity. He consistently emphasizes the importance of Puerto Rican identity in his music fashion, and performances elevating local culture into a global force. His impact has even contributed to tourism and commercial activity in Puerto Rico through tours and music-related ventures. There are no signs of him slowing down. He continues to bring Spanish-language music to the world's biggest stages. The global Debí Tirar Más Fotos tour has shattered records. His constant presence at festivals, on billboards, in fashion campaigns, and at international award shows reinforces his cultural influence. If 2020 marked him as the most streamed artist in the world, then 2026 proves he has become a global cultural icon, one whose influence extends beyond music, with no indication of decline. From the days behind a supermarket counter in Vega Baja to the Grammy stage where the world rises in applause, Bad Bunny has not just built a career, he has built an era. He did not change his language to conquer America. He compelled America to listen to Spanish. He did not avoid politics to stay safe. He walked into the streets and stood with his people. He did not conform to traditional standards of masculinity. He wore what he wanted, lived what he believed, and turned it into a global movement. His music breaks barriers. His fashion breaks stereotypes. His voice breaks silence. And the most astonishing part, he has accomplished all of it while remaining the most streamed artist in the world, selling out tours within minutes and turning every album release into a global event. Bad Bunny is not just a name on the Billboard charts. He is a cultural symbol for a new generation, where artists do more than entertain. They represent, they lead, and they transform. The question is no longer, can he stay at the top? The question now is, what will his next peak look like? And if recent history has taught us anything, it is this: never underestimate a young man from Puerto Rico when he decides to rewrite the rules.
Today's content may reference public figures, businesses, or social events. However, all mentions are intended for exploratory purposes only and are not meant as accusations or judgments. Stories like this, they leave a mark. If you want to keep digging into the truth and honor the legends, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You are now locked in with the Black Vault. What's your take on this? Let me know in the comments.